So am I any good? Have you had that question, Jenna, yourself? How do you?
I think that's the most universal question. And because we're all exactly the same as creatives. Is this going to work out? Am I any good? How do I take this swirling morass of information in my brain and distill it so that it's useful to someone else? I think that's a huge and very valid concern.
From my perspective, the am I any good question, you don't want to get stuck there. So the answer is simple. The answer is yes. And then the follow-up question is, can I get better? And the answer is yes. And that's really where let's put our energy there. Right? Because, it's hard out there as creatives to get the affirmation you need to give you the full confidence to go on. And it's sort of a miscalculation to think that you have to have that confirmed first, am I any good, before you proceed. And I think, yeah, you're good. And let's move on.
Look at all the famous writers who've gone on record as having said that every day is hard for them. Every day they question whether they can do it or not. Yeah. Every day they feel fragile and vulnerable. But the fiction writer, Ron Carlson, he said the most valuable thing to me, make friends with doubt.
Yes.
I just think of that every single day because it doesn't get any easier. We never know if we're any good. What's good? No, but if you come with your full heart, your full passion, and right through all of those doubts, then you will come to make meaning and connection with other people. So I think what you do on a daily basis, Krista, is kind of talk people down to recognizing their own power, right? What's good? Good is action. Good is power. Good is agency. Good is making it happen even if you are afraid.
Do I have something to say? Related to that is, does it matter? And is it relevant? What's the point? I've heard that many times. Do you have anything to say?
It's all been said before.
It's all been said before. Or somebody else said it better.
Yeah, the having something to say thing is important to acknowledge. But for as many people as we have in our lives, when we meet someone new who connects with us in that very special way, it's incredibly valuable. And it's the same with writers, with new books. You pick up a new book and it meets you where you live. Yeah. And despite the fact that you have a lifetime of reading behind you, that new book means so much all of a sudden. And it's the same with the voices that come to the page.
Yeah. And I think the mere fact that people are coming and looking for support means they have something to say. They feel the drive, they have the compulsion. And it's not just about the something that they have to say, because you're right, some things have been said, but then it's how you say it. It's how you say it is going to reach other people, and it's contextualized in your whole life, and there's just the place you are at in the world that you are going to unwrap it in a way that somebody new gets to hear it. And I think that's part of how I like to answer that question, because again, I have to tell myself that. I ask myself those questions all the time. What's the point? Who cares? All the time. And it actually is a way of stopping myself. It's actually a kind of creative sabotage. So, I always have to sort of talk myself down from that and just remember it's just my voice. Nobody else has my voice. So I'm going to have to unwrap something, and maybe somebody will appreciate that. And that has to be good enough. Yeah.
All right. It would be too, and I tell people this all the time, what a loss it would be if we let that stop us. The fact that someone else may have written on the same topic where hundreds of thousands of people have written on that same topic already. What new do I have to add to the conversation?
Yeah.
You have you. Exactly what you said, right? You have you. No one else is you.
Yeah.
We don't communicate in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Whether verbally or in writing, we communicate to establish and foster connection with other people. We're social animals, and we need each other. And we're writing in order to create bridges between human beings. And it's one of the most noble gifts, I find, reaching out, putting yourself on the line in an artistic way in order to be able to reach other people and create those bridges.
I think you're right. I think people want to be read. So it's just, again, you just write it for the first reader, which is yourself. You start there and then move outward from that. What do you say to that one, Jenna?
What I say is maybe going from an organic approach. If you write with full heart, if you write well, if you write in a way that is candid and honest and true, and in your voice and in a way that is clear and approachable, you will find an audience. So luckily, we're in a time when there are amazing amounts of opportunity for you to meet up with the people who will see your vision, who will hear your voice, and who will be that gatekeeper to sharing that work with other people. So somebody out there eventually will hear your voice and connect with it. It's just like, we were talking about earlier, when we share ourselves, there will be people out there who connect with that. And that's why we're doing this. And it's one of the hardest, challengingest things we can do is to continue to strive for publication, sending out and sending out and sending out. And sometimes it can be really dispiriting when you get 40, 50, 60, right? But I had a mentor in school who said, your path doesn't really start until you've gotten 100 rejection letters.
Yeah.
Then you're in it.
It's wonderful. Yeah. And I think when you focus just on that end result, like when you start, your journey with that question, will I get published? It sort of puts your attention off the process, which is so important, right? Because there's so much to be gained from just the process of becoming a better writer and immersing yourself in a writer and finding authentic voice and working on technique. And that exploration is so huge. And it actually, I think, fundamentally changes your life. And I'm not pretending like we don't all want to get published. We all do. But you have to sort of balance the results, that end goal, with really being present in the process. And so that's, and it's, again, something that all writers struggle with. There isn't a single project that I don't start thinking, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen.
You can't know. And you also can't fast track it, right? Like starting with the end game in mind can actually, to my mind, can actually be, like you said, detrimental to the process, because you have to be so present. You have to be connected to the work itself and you as its primary or initial reader.
Yeah.
And focusing only on saying what needs to be said and seeing the value just in that. So you might know in the back of your mind, the public, you definitely want to aim for publication, but at the same time, we have to Jedi mind trick ourselves into ignoring that, right? While you're in the work.
Yeah. You're two beings. It's exciting being published, and it's wonderful, the attention that you get, and it's wonderful connecting with readers. But there is a grace in that production, those months and months of lonely production. There are moments that I'm never happier when I'm just, sitting, thinking, writing, and I have the grace of that moment to do that. It's incredible privilege, and that's where there's you're different beings in those moments, but they're so important. And so it's really, I try to remind writers to love that moment, because those are hard to come by. Yeah.
That we have to hold dear, because, like I tell people, we're writing on behalf of those who can't or don't. We have to create that intimacy and give people the solace that they're looking for. When you pick up a book and feel so heard and understood, oh my God, that's me, or that's my life, or she totally gets it, that is magic.
And a lot of people are making meaning from their own internal turmoil and their own pain, right there. And that process too, without the end result, that process is so moving and transformative. So I think that and it's great to, it's a wonderful thing about being a coach and an editor, is being able to be part of that journey with folks. Some writers tell me they're just hearing my voice in their head is enough to get them to get their work done. It's like, which I don't know how to take, but maybe it's a good thing. Or just knowing that they have a call with me, it's like, oh, I better get that done. That adds this kind of accountability and I think discipline in a time when we have so many distractions and so many things to pull us away from the creative work and telling us that everything else is more important than that creative work.
We know what we want, but sometimes it's hard to see it until someone is standing there beside us doing this, showing us the way and keeping us focused. And also what you do is you're pushing people to be more productive, right? So even if a writer knows, I want to do this, when you have someone there who's like, I see you, and I know what you're doing and I know what you want to be doing. So let's get to work. It changes the whole landscape. That's why we have each other.
Yeah.